welcome to the MVP Show. Before we chat with today's guest, here's a quick message from our sponsors. Today's show is brought to you by the 90-Day Mentoring Challenge. I've been running this program now for a few years, had hundreds of people go through it. If you want to turbocharge your career in Microsoft Business applications, this is 100% free, apart from your time investment, of course. If you want to be mentored in the next 90-day challenge, please go to nz365guy.com/mentoring for more information. And with that, let's get on with the show. Today's guest is from Dublin, Ireland. She's a senior consultant in cloud engineering with Avanade. She's in her second year as an MVP. She's a mentor, which is a group of people supporting young women who desire to begin a career in technology. She's an advisor on the committee member for DynamicsCon and a founder of Textiles, which I'm sure we're going to find out about shortly. When not speaking, she mentors women and other members of the community. You can find her on Twitter at FoyinB. Welcome to the show, Foyin Olajide-Bello. Did I get that right?
Yes, almost.
How do you pronounce your last name?
So you can just say Foyi, really. I don't think you need to stress about the Olajide-Bello. It's fine. Yes, Foyi works. I mean, that's
so
just
where
very
are
few
you
of us.
from? Where are you
Have we
from?
started the show, or this is part of the?
Yeah, we've started the show. We're on here now.
Okay, because the textile is actually Textilers.
Yeah, Textilers. Tell me about Textilers.
Yes, so Textilers is a community that I started out about a year ago, and along the way, I've had other women join me, like Olajumoke, who is the co-founder, and other amazing women, which most of us are familiar with in the Power Platform. And our vision is to support women, ladies, girls who want to begin a career in technology, right? So we have some women who are just getting started, like fresh out of school, maybe 1 or 2 years experience, trying to find their fit in technology. We have other women who have gone off in a career path and are wanting to switch to technology. And we have some women who are doing like old tech and they want to start to understand the new technology like low code, no code, artificial intelligence, mixed reality. So we have all these different women with all of these needs, and Textiles is a place where we support, nurture, and mentor them to become the best of themselves in these technology areas.
So I've recently seen some posts around Textilers on Twitter. I saw Eliza Benitez in one of those posts recently. Is there a website that people can go to? How do people engage with Textilers?
So for now, we have our major channels are on LinkedIn. We have a LinkedIn page, Textilers. We have our Twitter handle at tech_stylers. And we also have our Teams channel where we have all of our tech sessions and all of our monthly meetup sessions. Yeah, but in order to be added to that Teams channel, you need to fill the form to indicate interest.
Yeah, and I see that the form is actually on that LinkedIn page. There's a link to the form that you can complete your email, first name, last name, and submit that. And obviously, someone I expect would be in touch with them.
Yes, that's great. Yes, it is. And we also have a WhatsApp group because we saw that people didn't really feel like a part of the community if they were not in a group where they could say hi and hello, something a bit beyond social media. So that was why we said, okay, let's create this WhatsApp group and have all of the women in one space where they can talk to each other on the go.
I love it. WhatsApp's really good for that, right? Because you can get into the flow of conversations. I was actually involved in starting a WhatsApp group in Nigeria a couple of years ago around the Power Platform Happy Hour, and it's grown massively. Of course, the Nigerian community have taken it over and are just running with it. It's so awesome.
It's really nice.
So how long have you been in Ireland? And did you move from Nigeria to Ireland? Was it a direct, or did you go to other countries first? How was that for you?
So 9 years now in Ireland. I moved November last year, and my family and I moved here. So we came with Emirates. So we had the stopover in Dubai and then straight to Ireland. But I mean, we didn't go out of the airport because at that time we were really deep into COVID and all and the lockdown. So it was more like we just wanted to get to our destination as quickly as possible. Yeah, so yes. And it's been basically Nigeria all my life, and now I'm in Ireland.
Yeah. Was it how did you start your tech career? What did take me on that journey of how you got into technology?
So I've always wanted to do tech, like since I was a girl. I was really curious about, how does the computer work? What's behind it? So I had that curiosity in me, and I made it known to my mom, and she said, "Okay, I think you should study computer engineering." But at that time, computer engineering felt more about building the parts together. So we had the chat with a more senior woman, and she said, "No, I think she should learn the software side of computer, not necessarily the hardware side." And so I got into university and studied computer science. And that's really how my tech career started. I did my university, then I got into an IT consulting firm. They were partners with Microsoft, and I started working there. And then we're doing SharePoint, then, installing the servers, Active Directory, and all. And that's really how my tech career started, with SharePoint as my first love, as I like to say. And I've basically grown through all the revolution and transformations of SharePoint since, I think, 2003 version. Then we had 2007 and 2010 and all that and all that. And along the way, all the other things that plug into SharePoint, like SharePoint Designer, which is a native automation tool, then a bit of the extensions using K2 and Nintex for process automation. Then I did a bit of Knowledge Lake at some point when we're trying to build a document management solution. So it was basically SharePoint and all of the things that surround the DocuSign and all. So yeah, and that's how I spent 9 years with the IT consulting firm. From there, I moved to the bank to drive the Office 365 initiative, and spent another 3 years plus there. And now I'm in Ireland.
Wow. How did Power Apps get on your radar then? Because you're obviously very deep in the SharePoint side of things. How did you discover Power Apps and Power Automate and started using those tools?
Yes. So because I was using SharePoint Designer at that time, we used InfoPath forms to design the front end of the request. Whenever a user has a request, we'll build an InfoPath form and then automate it with SharePoint Designer. So there was a new request at the bank, and I was talking to a friend about it. And he said, "Why are you still using InfoPath? Do you know there's something called Power Apps?" And I'm like, "Power Apps? I don't have a clue what that is. Am I licensed for it? Do I have to pay?" And then he laughed. He said, "Do you have Office 365?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Then you have Power Apps. You don't need to pay for it. Okay, let's jump on the call and let me show you." And then we had the call, and he showed me what Power Apps was like. Some of the things are like, "Wow, this is beautiful. This is like the user interface is a far cry from what InfoPath was." And that's how I said, "Okay, the next request coming my way is going to be Power Apps." So when I had shortly after that, a new request came, and I said, "Okay, I'm using Power Apps for this." And I started the journey, and it wasn't so easy. Sometimes I got stuck, and I didn't even know what to search for on the internet. Like, this is what it is you're trying to do, but okay, how do I say it? So I had my friend kind of mentoring me for my first few months, because he's in the US, he's in New York. So I had to wait for him to wake up, and settle down into work. So maybe when he's on lunch break, which would be almost be hitting my end of day, I could say, "Oh, I'm having this is what I'm trying to do. How do I say it?" Oh, and then he says, "Okay, this is how you go about it," and all. So from there, I started, my passion for the community started, because I saw how quickly I could solve problems leveraging someone who has been there. So I'm like, if we're all trying to learn this tool and we're all struggling, I mean, why should we all struggle alone? If I've been through something, you don't have to go spend another 2 hours or 3 hours looking for an answer. When I know the answer, I can just tell you this is it. And that's how I created a WhatsApp group and brought all the friends I've met in the past 11 years in my journey with InfoPath, saying, guys, InfoPath is going to die and Power Apps is here. You need to jump on it. And of course, they were like, no, we love InfoPath. We don't. And I'm like, when you start using Power Apps, you're going to love Power Apps because it's so slick. So that's how basically how the community started, from 2 people, and we started to increase, and they kept inviting other guys who were in the SharePoint and InfoPath space to say, come and learn Power Apps. And I know, and the Nigerian community has totally exploded today.
It's massive now. It's mind blowing how big it's become in Nigeria, and I think a lot of people don't understand about one, how big Nigeria is, as in from a population perspective, and then how many people are in tech in Nigeria.
Yes, I completely agree. I mean, a country of over 200 million people is a lot.
And are people seeing that tech is the kind of career path to follow there?
They are beginning to see it. And it's getting massive every day. Like, people are beginning to see that this is the way to go, I would say. I mean, coming from Nigeria, we have a lot of challenges, and also people are starting to see that with technology, I can basically have the world on my fingertips, I would say. Like, I'm not limited to the Nigerian economy. I can sit here in Nigeria and I can service any company across the world if I have the right technology skills. And we've seen, I mean, that has started happening. We've seen a lot of developers who sit in Nigeria and able to work for a lot of big companies across the world remotely, or seeing people move from Nigeria to other countries. So that has really increased the awareness of the young generation to know that, yes, technology is something that I can learn, that I can do, and I can also be successful at it.
Tell me, what's the attitude from, I come from New Zealand, a little country at the bottom of the world, and there's part of our culture in New Zealand that once you finish either high school or university, is that you then leave the country. If you want to experience the world, because you've been so remote, a lot of people would move to London or somewhere in Europe or the US or something like that. And there's a feeling that if you want to get ahead in your career, you need to leave the country to develop your career. Is there a culture? What's that feeling in Nigeria? Do people easily find work within Nigeria to either work remotely for companies in other countries, or is there a feeling that you also want to travel and go and explore the world?
So I think it's a mix of both. I think I would say, from my perspective, that it's a mix of both. So we have, with COVID and all that has happened, it has opened up a lot more remote opportunities to individuals, where the company is not necessarily saying, oh, you have to come. It's like, okay, fine, you can stay in your country, it's okay, but you just need to work for us remotely, and these are the hours you need to fulfill and all of that. So we're seeing a lot of that, and we're seeing some people prefer that because, moving countries is not completely a fantastic experience. You're coming to a new culture, the weather is different, all of your friends are back home. These are friends of 10, 15 years who could just walk into your home anytime and come and have dinner. You could walk into theirs when you're feeling bored and just say, oh, what did you cook? And just go to the kitchen and make yourself at home. Your family is there, your parents are there, everybody. So moving is a big step, and not everyone is ready for that big step now. So they would prefer to say, you know what, I want to stay at home. It's fine if I can earn the money from here. And we have other people who are a bit adventurous. They say, I want to see the world. I've lived all my life here. The world is too big for me to spend all my life in a particular country. I want to see what's going on. I want to have the feeling of working with other professionals that speak different languages, that have a completely different perspective to life, so that my mind can also be broadened. I can start to think, see how people from another place, how they reason and all. So it's a mix. It's a mix. It's a mix.
How did you become an MVP? What were and I really, there'll be folks listening to this call that they want to know, one, about how to become an MVP and what was different for you once you became an MVP. And correct me if I'm wrong, you were the first MVP in business applications in Nigeria, is that right?
Yes, and also the first female MVP.
Yeah, awesome, right? Those are big milestones and big an opportunity for those aspiring to look at what you've achieved. And anyone that's the first is always gone through more hoops to get through because the way hasn't been created. But you've now created the way, of course, for other women in tech, people in Nigeria, etc., to also become MVPs. So what was that journey for you, and what's been the impact on you?
Okay, so I know that the whole story of the community and how it got started was basically what happened, and we had our first meetup. At that time, I didn't even know how to hold a meetup. Like I was like, okay, what do we do? What do we say? How do we plan the agenda? I was completely lost, but I knew that I wanted to do this. So I reached out to Samis, I reached out to Keith, to see, I'm trying to do this. I can see you're leading some user groups. How can I start? And I remember that Keith, scheduled a meeting with me, which I missed the first time because I was still in transit and I felt so bad. I was like, oh, Keith, I'm so sorry. I missed the meeting because I was like, no, it's fine. It's fine. I'm like, wow, okay, this is fantastic. We'll book another time. And then we booked the session and he explained to me what a standard meetup would look like and how we should run, what the agenda should be. And he promised that they will all come in on the call. The couple of MVPs, the Power Platform crew will come in to support for the Q&A session. And it was fantastic, the first event. All this while, I didn't really even, I knew there was something called MVP because I think at that time we had like 2 or 3 people in Nigeria who were MVPs, but I didn't even know what they did or what it takes to become an MVP. So I was just here doing my own thing and being passionate about helping the community and connecting all of us together. And I started that out, started running our weekly meetups remotely, and all of that was going on. Then we had the Power Platform Bootcamp the following year, which was massive, over 250 people in attendance in person, and it was fantastic. And also we're just doing all of that, and I got other people to join. So people like David Abu, who's now with Microsoft, all those passionate people were just running the community. And then I saw that we're not getting enough traction from the women, which was how Textiles got started. So in the midst of it all, I just got a mail from Lawrence, who works with Microsoft. He's in Kenya, and he says, "Oh, Foyin, I've heard all the fantastic things you're doing, blah, blah, blah. Can you send me a slide just to talk about all the things I've done for the community?" And I said, okay, that I want to submit I want to propose, or I want to what's the word now? I want to nominate you as an MVP. And I said, okay. So I sent it to him, and that's how I got the email to say, oh, we have been nominated, answer all of these questions. So for me, it wasn't really like I had the MVP as a target when I started. Because like I said, I didn't even know what it was about or how to become one. For me, it was just about connecting all of the professionals together, knowledge sharing, helping each other in our learning journey, and doing all the volunteer work to help the community, our local community. So that was really how I got nominated for the MVP, and how I eventually got my MVP award. What impacts from the impact he has made for me personally is I'm happy and I'm proud that I, as a Black woman, in Nigeria, can become an MVP. It's an award I cherish so much, and I'm really humbled and honored to have it. And I'm also happy and excited because it shows other women, other Nigerian women, that you know what, you can also do this and you can also have this award. Because for us African and Nigerian women, there's a lot that we do. There's a lot of responsibilities on us. There's so much that most of us, like, the last thing on our agenda is anything volunteer. Like, when we just finish the mere basics, we're like, I just want to rest. Like, I'm not up for anything, for any volunteer activity or any community, nothing. I don't think I can manage that with my tight schedule. So gaining the MVP, I think, would show, and that was I got a lot of positive response from it also on social media. We show all the women that this is possible and you can also do this. This is not about Onyibo people, as we call them. It's not about being white or being foreign. Here, you as a Black woman can also have this award. And I'm very happy that even after I got it, a couple of months later, my friend also, Jumoke, who started out Textiles with me, also became an MVP in office apps and services. And, and we're hoping that we're currently mentoring a lot of women, and also hoping that we'll become more in the next coming months.
I love it. Such a good story. It's so good to hear it. And I just hope so many people are inspired from your journey. I always like to wrap up with a few random quickfire questions. Are you ready for yours?
Yes, I am.
Here it is. You walk into a cafe. What type of drink do you order?
A Coke.
A Coke. I like it. Would you rather be rich or famous?
Rich.
Nice. Nice. If you could solve one world problem, what would it be? And it can't be COVID.
No, it can't. Certainly not. Education. I believe that everyone has the right to be educated. So yes, I would do education free for all, and ensure that you can reach the highest heights of education you desire to achieve in life without having money as a problem.
I like it. Foyin, thank you so much for coming on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so delighted to have this conversation with you, Mark.
Hey, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Business Application MVP Mark Smith, otherwise known as the NZ365 Guy. If you like the show and you want to support it, please check out buymeacoffee.com/NZ365 Guy. Thanks again, and see you next time.